Welcome to the Info Day for the Accelerator topic in the European Innovation Council on novel technologies for resilient agriculture. My name is Annemarie Sasse. I'm the head of unit of the Program Manager's Office, and I will introduce to you very briefly the European Innovation Council and its different instruments that we have. I will also say something more about the proactive management that the EIC does. Then at 2:10, we will start with the main topic of today's info session, and that is the challenge, novel technologies for resilient agriculture. Our program manager of Agri-Food, Ivan Stefanic, will give you this presentation. Then there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions. And these questions will be answered by Ivan, but also by our colleague Konstantinos Nikos from the Accelerator unit. You have the opportunity to ask your questions through Slido, and I really want to encourage you to make use of this opportunity, because today is really your chance to ask any question that you have around this challenge. I'm also very happy that we have our EIC ambassador, Mattia Zul, with us. And Mattia will talk about his experience as an EIC beneficiary. So he has been awarded with a grant and also a loan in the Accelerator scheme, and he will tell you more about what that brought that to him. And then finally, at just before 3:30, we will have our closing remarks and the end of the session. Soon after that, we will continue a new session where we also will talk about a challenge on agri-food, but that will be a Pathfinder challenge, and that session will start at 4 o'clock. So I want to start with the introduction to the European Innovation Council. And on this slide, you see an overview of the whole of Horizon Europe. And the European Innovation Council is part of Horizon Europe, and actually it's part of Pillar 3 on Innovative Europe. And you see that in Pillar 3, there is, for instance, also the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, the EIT kicks that we have. But also in Pillar 2 of Horizon Europe, there's a lot of research on food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment in Pillar 6 of, in Cluster 6 of Pillar 2. So the European Innovation Council is in a different pillar than the main part of Horizon Europe. So it constitutes around 10% of the whole of Horizon Europe. So the whole of Horizon Europe is around 100 billion euro, and the European Innovation Council is around 10 billion euro. And it's all dedicated to bringing fundamental research, groundbreaking research, as quickly as possible to the market. And in order to do that, in the EIC, we have 3 instruments. The first one is Pathfinder. It focuses on low TRL research, so going from 1 to 4. And it focuses really on early research on breakthrough technologies. And it's very important, these breakthrough technologies that can solve the societal challenges that we have and the problems that we are dealing with in Europe. And the main financial instrument that you get, it's a grant of around 3 to 4 million euro. Usually it are consortia that apply to this. Then the second instrument that we have, it is transition. So once your Pathfinder has developed a proof of concept and it shows that potentially it could work, it could really solve a problem or bring a new groundbreaking service to the market, but you still need to develop the idea further, mature it further. That is then you can apply for transition and to bring your idea from TRL 4 to TRL 6. So it's also for consortia but also single entities. It matures technology from proof of concept and to market validation, and it makes the service or the product business and market ready. In this case, it's also with grants, and you can receive up to 2.5 million euro. And then finally, the last instrument, and that is what we will discuss now in this session, it is Accelerator. And in Accelerator, it's focused on TRL 6 to 9. It is for individual SMEs who are startups or SMEs who want to scale up a technology, a product or a service that they have. So it is focused on development and scale up of deep tech disruptive innovations by startups SMEs. And in this case, you can get blended finance with a part of a grant up to 2.5 million euro, but also equity investments up to 15 million euro, or even in some cases above. So this is really significant amount more of funding to help companies scale up. So if we have this other picture of, again, the three instruments, we see Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator. And we see that in every of these three instruments, the technology readiness level goes up, because we saw that in the previous slide. We start from Pathfinder with low technology readiness level and in Accelerator with high. But at the same time, also the business readiness goes up. Whereas in Pathfinder, there should already be an outlook on what could potentially be a business for this, but it's still not very well developed. But with transition, it will develop more, and with Accelerator, it should really develop further. So you can see that the EIC, it distinguishes itself from the Pillar 2 of Horizon Europe, is that it really stages the entrepreneurial journey of projects going from research to business, going from what can we do to also why can we do that. And in the EIC, you will not get only a grant, only financial support, you will also get content-wise support and services which are available for all the beneficiaries of the European Innovation Council. And that is also different than in the rest of Horizon Europe. So with this proactive management, the EIC wants to help every project on their entrepreneurial journey. And there are three components to this proactive management. The first one is the business acceleration services, which are available to all beneficiaries. And they, for instance, you see here on the left-hand side, the slides, the list of the services that are available. So access to entrepreneurs, to mentors, to ecosystems where you can find partners or customers, all kinds of trainings, you can get expert advice. And for instance, one of the things that we also do is that we organize corporate days where startups that have developed good products can get in contact with corporates who might be interested to use such the innovations of the SMEs. So business acceleration services. The second part are the program managers. So the program managers is also a new concept in the EIC. And we have 10 program managers in the EIC. You can see on the right-hand side the area of expertise of these program managers. So you could view them as in-house experts who have both a background in research, but also in innovation. So they can really cover this whole entrepreneurial journey from research to the business. And then they do that in their areas, and they help projects. They are actively managing portfolios of projects where they will support the projects in their entrepreneurial journey. The program managers are also the ones who develop new visions about what are the areas where Europe should invest more. And these visions, they are then coming in a work program as challenges. So now today we will talk about the Accelerator Challenge on Novel Technologies for Resilient Agriculture. And that one has been developed by Ivan Stefanic, who will then also explain you further. In this slide, you can see a whole overview of the whole work program of the EIC of 2023. So in total, there is 1.6 billion euro of funding available. And how the EIC works is that about half of the funding is dedicated to open calls. And these open calls, you can submit any topic as long as it is
This meeting is being recorded.
And so you can see that here. So both you see the three instruments: Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator. And each
this meeting is no longer being recorded.
Have an open part, and they have a part dedicated to challenges. So in Pathfinder, the challenges are related to, well, you can see here the list: clean, efficient cooling, digitalized construction, but also precision nutrition. So for Pathfinder, we will explain this precision nutrition starting at 4 o'clock. But if we look down to Accelerator, there we also see an open part and we see the challenges. And if we look at the challenges for Accelerator, we see that there are 8 in total. It starts with biomarker-guided cancer treatment, aerosol and surface decontamination, energy storage technologies, digitalized construction, fault-tolerant quantum computers, semiconductors, chip design, and then technologies for resilient agriculture. About each of these challenges, we are organizing info days these days. And the last one on space technologies and services, it already took place on the 26th of January. But all these info sessions are recorded. I want to say that we focus really on the agriculture part of the challenge goal. If you have questions about how to submit a proposal or the general information about the EIC, then we want to refer you to another info day, which was held in December last year, and which has also been recorded and which explains all the general principles of the European Innovation Council. But today we focus really on the topic. This slide is the last slide that I want to present, and it shows an overview of all the deadlines. So you can see that for Accelerator Open, there are 4 deadlines, 4 cutoff dates, as we call it, to make it as easy as possible for you to apply. So the first one already is over, but the second one is on 22nd of March. For the challenges, there are also 3 cutoff dates. Again, this one on 22nd of March, 7th of June, and then the 4th of October. And then for Pathfinder, we also have open and challenges, and for transition and also open and challenges. And in all those cases, there's only one deadline to apply to. So with this, I want to give the word to Ivan, who will present to you the topic on novel technologies for resilient agriculture. Ivan, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. It was short but very in-depth overview of EIC portfolio management. Thank you. And let's talk about challenge on novel technologies and how they could facilitate resilient agriculture. I hope you see my presentation in presentation mode, so we can
Yes,
continue.
We see it good.
Thank you. So I am EIC Program Manager for Food Chain Technologies and Novel and Sustainable Food. And this is our agenda. While watching this agenda, I noticed that we have only one Q&A session, and our ambassador is scheduled after it. So I would propose that Mattia actually deliver his presentation prior to Q&A, so participants could actually ask him about his experience as a accelerator beneficiary. I hope, Mattia, that's okay with you. And then it is about accelerator. If you have possibly a project in earlier stage, I will invite you to join us for a Pathfinder part of the webinar and learn how we can support you in early phase of development of innovation. Of course, I may not forget, here with me today is Kostas Michos from EO1 unit. He's here to administrate Q&A session and help us to find out important details of Accelerator Challenge Call. By saying that, just a purpose, goal of our info day is to help you to align your proposal with parameters of the challenge call, to avoid unnecessary mistakes, and certainly not to provide individual feedbacks of appropriateness, yes or no. This is your decision. You are deciding, you are opting for open or a challenge call. You can ask questions all the time. Here's the Slido code. We will have the same code during the Q&A session, so you can use it as we go. I would propose you upload your questions as soon as possible so we could organize them, avoid the duplication, and get to the most important ones as fast as possible. And then let's start with the beginning. I joined the European Innovation Council early 22, and the statistics for 21 was just released. Prior to that, there were no challenge calls in food and agri-tech, and as you see, participation of food and beverages and agriculture and fishery was really low single-digit participation. That's for 21. When you look from the beginning till 22, there was about 120 projects in food and agri-tech organized like this, mostly processing, storage, and waste, then equipment, primary production, resilient agriculture, novel foods, and digitalization. And then, how to improve the resilience and security of European food supply chain. So I have to present agriculture with one slide, and I would use this one. This is modern agriculture. When you look those green things, that's yield. That's what we want. Yield is produced in a monoculture system, heavily dependent on fossil fuel and chemical ingredients to keep them clean. Everything else is undesirable. We even call them pests or weed, and we have to kill it. And we are killing it with industrial efficiency. But that, after a long period of applications, after decades of repeatedly applying chemicals, we reach the limits of our ecosystem. So biodiversity, soil microbiome is heavily endangered, and waste part of European soils is really unhealthy. So how to make a step forward from monoculture based on fossil fuels and chemicals? This matrix, 10 by 5, is describing 50 opportunities, 50 partial solutions we have to fix to get reliable, healthy, functioning food supply chain. And it is grouped like core agricultural technologies, technologies of Industry 4.0, then novel foods. And then if we fix all that, we could actually save only up to equivalent of 5 gigatons GHG emission. Surprisingly, if we change our eating habits and how we manage waste, we could save twice as much. And then there is out-of-box solutions because we cannot anticipate everything, and those are our open calls. But there is important thing to say. So those things could be reduced to 20 boxes. We don't need all 50. Then, if you want to pick just one and treat it as a silver bullet, this is our solution to improve agriculture, that certainly won't work, because there is a serious interaction between those boxes. Forcing one could have detrimental effect on others. Using chemical protection, you would certainly destroy biodiversity, and many other combinations. It is important to pay attention to broader picture. And this is one of the prerequisites of this challenge. You cannot pay attention only to your project. You have to pay attention to broader impact of your project on other subsystems. This is what we financed so far. It is obvious that most popular, most frequent was food processing and packaging and quality of food and beverages. Everything else was much less. Transition and Pathfinder, very seldom. Since 23, we have challenges. Challenges could be just anywhere. But for 23, we have challenges precisely positioned at crop protection, soil health and management, irrigation and water management, and fertilization, heavily supported by digitalizing agriculture. And I will explain that in details. So challenge proposal is defined using holistic approach, a life cycle approach, with a clear idea to foster EU technological autonomy and leadership, and also support other EU strategic plans and relevant initiatives. And then it's aiming to improve the resilience and security of European food supply chain. Why holistic approach? This is agribusiness. And as you see, Farm Bill is only 10 to 15%, depending on the year and the state. Paying attention only to primary production is not enough. We have to pay attention to the whole system, whole food supply chain. And for that reason, we would like to have holistic approach. We would like to have this in a very lucrative perspective niche, because accelerator applicants, they are businesses and they have to grow fast and make money. This is a patent search with help of ESPASnet showing that regenerative and agriculture combined is actually growing very fast in recent years. But when you look where those patent applications are coming from, you see that Europe, European Union, represented by Germany, France, Portugal, and Spain, is really not leading the game. We would like to improve that with Accelerator Challenge. And then this is the bad news for all agriculture professionals. We are using inappropriate agricultural practices, causing soil degradation. You can say Europe is, compared to other continents, maybe good, but this is far away from satisfactory. There is a vast space for improvement. Design and implement appropriate agricultural practices. Agriculture is on bad reputation, like pushing hard for deforestation. But on the other hand, agriculture is losing a lot of arable land every year. Statistics say as much as the size of Greece, which is considerable. But when you look FAO map, you would see, but there is no loss of arable land. So it's compensated by intense deforestation. And for that reason, we have to keep soil health in our focus and improve it as fast as possible. And then if you plug into our equation growth of population, you see agriculture has really demanding job. Produce more with considerably less resources. And then final element, regardless of the root cause of global warming, it is warmer. And frankly speaking, it's not about us. It is about plants, and they don't care about root cause. Is it greenhouse gas emissions or orbital cycles? They simply have to adopt, and they cannot do that in the short run. And then, if they fail in complying with 1.5 centigrade's agenda, yeah, we definitely need viable food production system even more. Let me tell you a story about digitalization, and our guest would tell you more about that. All those partial methodologies, technologies are nice, but they only work well for farmers and could be implemented if they integrate. But frankly speaking, if they not pay attention to core agriculture technologies, principles of regenerative agriculture, they could be a trouble. It is about minimal soil disturbance, crop rotation and association, soil cover, biological pest control, and then innovative technologies and equipment that would allow that. Let me give you an example. It's a beautiful piece of machine, autonomous weeder. It deploys AI, lasers, could be even electric. But I don't like one thing. I don't like bare soil. It opens actually our fields to soil erosion, intense weed growth, and definitely it diminishes biodiversity. Once upon a time, we had a solution like that. It was John Deere moldboard steel plow. It is accredited to John Deere, highly polished moldboard, which plow through steps just perfectly. But then, with powerful machinery, in just a couple of years, almost destroyed 30 millions of hectares. It made American Midwest not only difficult to produce, but merely livable. And then we start paying attention to conservation of our soils, and you would just wonder, did we learn something? Yeah, I would say not so much, because this picture is taken much later, different place, but the fact is the same. The only difference is we have much more powerful machinery. So pay attention to your proposals. Do not cause detrimental effect in other boxes. Then some problems in food and agri-tech are defined quite some time ago. It's nilometer. It was just a simple device to measure water level and predict yields. Nowadays, we would do that with complex array of sensors, even Earth observation satellites, doing the same, but still not quite operational, reliable, widely spread solutions. And then let's talk about background and scope. European food supply chain is considered as a reliable and as a one to produce high quality and safe food. But it is fragile, sensitive for social and natural causes. And then it is a complex system, which is very sensitive to even small negative perturbation if they appear in rapid succession along the whole value chain. And we experienced that recently. We had COVID pandemics, we have war in Ukraine, and it is not anymore about affordability of mineral fertilizers and chemicals. It is about availability. So it is a fragile system, but in its heart is soil and microbiome. And if we want to improve, we have to adopt One Health concept, paying attention to environmental aspect of agriculture, animal and human health. And then biodiversity is important, but also provide additional functions which facilitate successful functioning of the agriculture. And then we are using unsustainable practices and we deteriorate our environment quite intensely. To change that, incremental innovations are not enough. We need groundbreaking innovations based on scientific solutions, and this is the major tool to support other initiatives, primarily from DG Agri and DG RTD. So, key goal is to develop solutions contributing to development of sustainable agriculture and food production system, resilient to environmental and social disruptions, and support strategic EU initiatives by developing new generation of technologies, equipment, materials. All that is written in challenge description in our work program 23. Let me summarize specific objectives. So we need groundbreaking innovations, particularly in the area of sustainable fertilization, crop protection under principles of integrated pest management, focusing on mechanical, physical, and biological measures, irrigation and water management, soil management, protection and restoration, and crop and livestock management. All that supported by digitalization. What could be the output? Processes, materials, equipment, management practices, whatever contributes and cause regenerative effect of the agriculture. Ultimately, the challenge aims to improve the resilience of European food supply chain, valorize crop residues, increase efficiency, and foster EU technological autonomy and leadership in focused area. It is not only what we do, it is how we do. And then if you remember the picture with monoculture at the beginning, yeah, farmers are almost labeled like villains, destroying the environment. But frankly speaking, they came to this position by listening scientists, extension agents, and they were compliant with valid legislation. But they are recently told mostly what not to do. It is important to tell them what to do. And then we know exactly what that should be. But large-scale solutions are still not available. Something like that for really small scale and merely large scale. What we hope to do? We hope to get a portfolio of complementary projects which could actually initiate the change and improve food supply chain. How? We know we have Pathfinder Transition and Accelerator, but we also have smaller grants to facilitate our gearbox to spin fast enough. It is about program managers to find those and facilitate those synergies among projects in Accelerator portfolio. This is the summary of evaluation process. If you have disruptive idea, you are at appropriate technology readiness level, you apply, you are preparing a business plan, you submit full proposal, you get remotely evaluated, you attend interview, and hopefully you get the grant. This is the team standing behind the evaluation, so you are in good hands. There are capable professionals to assess your application properly. And then let me finish an inspiring way. This is just 18 seconds video. Start with EIC is small. You start with Pathfinder, you move to Transition or Fast Track to Accelerator. You are in the portfolio. And then it's feasible. We can produce much more than noise. We could actually impact change of food supply chain for better. I know that would be merely enough without question and answer session without experience of existing beneficiaries, there are some additional sources. The most important one is our work program. Then you have fairly long recording of general type of info day for all of our programs, then EIC Horizon Scanning and Challenge Information days. But before going to question and answer session, I would call Mr. Matthias Joule, EIC beneficiary and EIC ambassador, to deliver his presentation so our participants could actually ask about challenge, about proactive management, and experience of successful beneficiary. Mattia, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for inviting me to share our experiences with the EIC Accelerator, and hopefully I'll be able to share you what were our thoughts, what was our journey, and how we are doing now as well. So let me share the screen. And if somebody can just confirm that you see the screen.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Okay, so Agrivi is an agriculture technology company, and I'm the founder and CEO at Agrivi. So the area we work in is food and agriculture, and as Ivan mentioned in his speech, something is very wrong at the root of food and agriculture. And if we see number of hungry people, we rolled back the entire progress about hunger in the last 20 years in just last 3 years. So we are now doing worse than before. A lot of food is being wasted at the same time. Food is being the biggest driver of diseases. A lot of people die because of pesticides. Each year, a lot of fresh water is being used for agriculture, and with the climate change, we should even irrigate more. We should use more water. And if we know that California already fell by 0.5 meter, we know that that's not so feasible. And if we take a look at other issues like climate change and farmer health, the question is how to solve that. So as Agrivi, we are in a mission to help agri-food industry to produce healthy, safe, and nutritious food in a regenerative and profitable way, but with our digital agriculture solutions. As a company, we are celebrating 10 years of existence this year. We do position already as one of leading farm management software companies in the industry, and we are a team of 50 people at the moment. So what do we do now? So today we support a lot of global leaders in food and agriculture business to transform their agricultural production and make it more sustainable, make it more efficient, make it more sustainable. And this is great. This is how we live today, where our business is today. And we have two major products. So first one is Agrivi 360 Farm Enterprise. And this is the product that is central platform for farm agronomy and business operations that connects a lot of different other technologies from weather insights, satellite imagery, telematics from machinery, and follows daily process of agronomist on a farm, helps them with decision making, and in the end secures full traceability. And this is usually being used by bigger farms that have more complex operations that are currently on the stage where they can adopt such a platform. The other platform we have is Agrivi 360 Agriculture Supply Chain, and this is being used usually by food and agriculture companies that source crops from farms to produce some kind of processed food or a beverage. And with this platform, food and agriculture companies are delivering the platform to farmers, usually small and medium-sized farmers, where they collaborate with them. But in all that, that is progressing well. So the question was actually, so how we contribute and what's missing there. So first of all, those two platforms today deliver very tangible results, and they deliver very tangible operational results, business results with cost savings, with yield increase, with higher profitability, with support for more sustainable production. And when we take a look at some achievements like 23% reduction in input use, like fertilizers or chemicals, or 10 to 15% profit increase, that's great. And companies actually achieve good ROI with our platform. But we came to the point where we saw the challenge. Well, at the moment, the majority of our customers are big enterprise companies. And when we take a look at agriculture as industry and segmentation, majority of farms are smallholder farms and SME. And as much we tried, and everybody in the industry tried, majority of digital agriculture solutions are not adopted by SME farmers today. So adoption is extremely low. So the question was, okay, what do we need to do to actually support the biggest segment of the industry? So let's just take a look a bit about adoption as well. So on this slide, you can see the adoption rate of farm management software in Western European countries and Eastern European countries. And there is a big difference because in Western European countries, the farms are bigger by default, and you can see the difference. So only 6% penetration of farm management software in Eastern European countries versus 56 in Western. So, and this is the same basically statistics applies when you take a look at large farms and enterprise companies versus small farms. And this is where you can see that, yes, Western farms are much bigger in size, Eastern European farms are much lower in size and income. So this is how we started our journey with EIC Accelerator, where we wanted to achieve a couple of goals. So we wanted to identify one of the major problems smallholder farms need to solve immediately, that will be good enough driver to really adopt and transform their operations, that it is really so simple to use that they cannot actually not to use it, so that they don't need to onboard as much as possible, that they don't need to change the habits, so that it's delivered in a way that is fully common to them today. Third was that the solution is not isolated in the ecosystem, that it's supportive. So not just from the technical side, on the with technical integrations, that it can work with other technologies, but from the business perspective, that it addresses multiple pain points, and actually to focus the business model, the commercialization, to motivate the ecosystem, the entire industry, to bring the solution to SME farms and mitigate the cost burden, so that they actually don't even pay for that. And in the end, to secure the financials capital to support R&D for delivering of such solution. So we did pilots inside. We did develop the idea to needed TRL level, and then we applied to EIC. So what we created was not the comprehensive farm management platform that is being delivered to small and medium-sized farms, but we changed the approach. We said, well, what small and medium-sized farms, actually those people, those farmers, and when we take a look at age structure today, what do they use? So they use their mobile phones, and they use apps like WhatsApp to communicate with their children, see the photos of their grandchildren, and they use that. So they know how to use that. So we said, well, let's embed all the technology, all the knowledge that we have. Let's make it smarter, and let's deliver it through the chatbot, basically to farms, to SME farms, and let's help them with something they need to do now, because not just it's a very tangible problem with all the rising costs, but also because regulation requires them to immediately change behavior. And this was the crop protection side. So we decided to solve the crop protection piece, and to help farmers with very simple decisions on when to spray. So first of all, embed the insight on how farmers understand when it's the right time for spraying or not spraying. By delivering actual risks, you have the risk of specific pest or disease on your fields through the platform, through the chat. If they decide to react to actually spray, then to help them with recommending a product, which product is currently compliant, and both which is the biological product compliant as well, to try to shift their behavior towards more sustainable products. And in the end, if when they spray, when they finish everything, when they say we did spray, in the end, to let them know when it's safe to harvest, because there is a lot of challenges with harvesting immediately, to calculate for them, okay, what is the waiting period? Is the waiting period over? Is it safe to harvest your field or not safe to harvest, to make sure that the food safety is on the highest level. On the business model side, what we did was we said, well, first of all, we want this application, this platform, this chatbot to be the mass market solution. So to do that, we need to decrease all the burdens for farms. Not just it's simple to use, it delivers really tangible benefit to them, but as well that we can empower the ecosystem. So not just for creating our own app that we will push to the market for free, where we expect to actually get a lot of feedback data to teach the AI algorithm to recommend better, but also to deliver API to be a piece of other solutions as well, to make it possible to embed and collaborate with other solutions. Solutions empower their business cases, their use cases, and to reach as many farms through their channels as possible. And in the end, to offer white label app to companies that are not technology companies that will embed this solution, but that want to have this kind of solution white labeled for them and push it to their ecosystem of farms to have their chatbot application. And through those secondary basically approaches, this is where the commercial model lies, and this is how we try to actually utilize the entire technology and business ecosystem to be a piece of the solution that works together. Some highlights and tips of what we learned basically from our application to EIC as well, but also currently being a EIC beneficiary as well, is that it's not really about making incremental progress. So we could think about, okay, our customer base are enterprise growers, big companies, and let's find something to make another incremental increase there. We wanted to see actually how to finally bring a solution that will be adopted by mass market, by small and medium-sized farms, ensure that business model fits there. So really to transform the current status quo of SME farms. The second part was think collaborative. So not to build something that's standalone in any sense, but really to see how we can be a part of the bigger picture. The third one is that preparation for EIC Accelerator is something that you should take very seriously, because it's very competitive. And so we included all the key stakeholders from our team, first of all, to make sure that we really bring not just the entire concept that we tested internally, but also the entire business model in a way that it can actually go through. This means that it needs to work. So it needs to be really good. And the fourth is don't be so sure in yourself that you know everything. It's great to get as much feedback during the preparation as possible. So get external help, get external feedback, get coaching. There are companies that do that can help you. There are other companies that want EIC that are happy to share their experiences. So that's important. And I would say that the fifth one is very important, even during the preparation, but especially after, is cherish open communication, because it's in everybody's interest that ideas work, that everything is really developed. So what we can see currently in our project execution is whatever question we have, whatever thoughts we have, we try to share them with our project officers at EIC, discuss it with them. It's in their intention as well to support us, to help us to find the best answers, the best approaches. So I would say it's a really collaborative experience. So cherishing open communication is really important, and don't be shy to ask for help. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mattia. And now we are ready for, I would say, maybe the most interesting part, question and answer. And by saying that, I'm giving floor to Kostas Michos. He would moderate question and answer session.
Many thanks, Ivan. Good afternoon to everyone. We'll try to address as many questions as possible regarding the implementation of the EIC Accelerator. So we can go to the first point. Is it possible to apply with no new technology in a management practice or novel process? It's usually, in principle, it's not possible because we're looking for disruptive technologies and not incremental technologies. So in that sense, it will be rather impossible to join the EIC Accelerator funding, just an incremental proposition. We go to the other one. I understand that technology only is promising for market transition in the food sector. What about innovations in methodologies or services? I think that the same answer applies also to this point, if I understand correctly. Does aquaculture fit with novel technologies for resilient agriculture challenge? It depends. It depends on the project. It depends on the specificities of the project, if it fits to the specific challenge. So
let's start with aquaculture question first. That would depend how you position your project within the challenge. You notice that specific goals of the challenge are to improve soil health and management, fertilization, crop protection, and tillage, irrigation. So if your aquaculture project has considerable impact to those specific goals, it might be fit for a challenge. It is only if it's only about growing biomass in aquaculture, breeding fishes, not paying attention to circularity, that might be more fit for open call. So it depends how you position it.
Customer received the EIC grant, then raised 40 million mostly afterwards. Worth apply to EIC, or will evaluators decline as they can raise in a free market? Of course, it's on a case-by-case basis. Maybe 14 million seem to be a high fundraising amount, but it depends on the technology on the market. So it would be evaluated by the jury. Still, this process entails high risk. So it's up to the jury to evaluate if the proposal could be financed by the accelerator or not. Next one, given the 4 deadlines, does it mean that the decision regarding submitted application will be given after the last deadline, or each deadline is independent? Each deadline is independent. So after a call, and since your project is submitted there, it will be evaluated, and in due time, there will be a decision on this proposal. Is the accelerator program open to UK incorporated startups planning to serve EU countries? No, the UK-based startups are not eligible for the EIC acceleration funding. no matter where is the place that where are the countries where they tend to serve the markets. I think that you can take that on, Ivan.
On cellular fermentation, yes.
Yeah.
Does food production using methods not involving agriculture fit in, like cellular fermentation? Yes, that's a very good question. That would also depend how you position your application within the challenge. You can use cellular fermentation for enhanced livestock management. You can use fermentation to produce various inputs like one nutrient or combined nutrients, fertilizers, additional inputs. So I would say, yes, is properly positioned, you might be fit for a challenge.
Ivan, I want to take the next question.
Okay, next question. Will an evaluation through elder and school-oriented models be valued? Before we get to pro farming, should we focus on pro agriculture target from the start? It is about business, so it is expected from EIC Accelerator applicants to grow fast. So you should assess your chances of actually delivering fast growth through elder and school-oriented models, or focusing on pro agriculture. But it is also about TRL level, and I think the critical point is going from 5 to 6. So if you're at 5, you have your technology validated in relevant environment. You might say this is validated through elder and school-oriented models. But are you really at the TRL 6, technology validated, demonstrated in relevant environment? Yeah, that would be important prerequisite to enter the accelerator in the first place.
If we are a UK company but setting up a Dutch subsidiary, can the subsidiary apply? Will that create issues? We want to expand our team. Okay. Yes, the subsidiary can apply once it has the independence to submit the proposal to run the project successfully until the end. And also, it should be noticed that the subsidiary will exploit the benefits of the technology in the markets, and also will possess the IP rights. What type of support do we receive when searching for an investor after applying for blended finance? Yes, there are the business acceleration services for which you can improve your pitching. There will be some coaching on liaising with investors. There will be some coaching regarding the identification of the right vertical and the right connection with investors. There is a series of additional supporting services. For the accelerator program, is it possible only to receive non-dilutive grants, or is it granted equity investment? Yes, it is possible, but the EIC Accelerator aims to provide blended finance. It's a small proportion of the grant-only financial schemes, since the program intends to disrupt the market and, of course, to assist the scaling up of the projects.
Is animal welfare a strong component or a weak component of the stream? I would say depending how you take care about animal welfare would determine is it strong or weak. And I'm not sure that I actually understand the question. Could it be projects aiming to improve animal welfare in the program? Yes, since one of the specific objective is to improve livestock management. But I would need some additional information before going deeper with that. The next two questions are about procedure, Kostas.
Yeah, can we get an early indication from the application platform that our proposal will be accepted for this challenge? No, I don't think that you can have an indication. However, there is coaching when you draft your proposals and you prepare the submission of your application. So alongside with the coaching, you might find if this challenge is the best suited for you. What should be the criterion to choose between blended and grant first options? The only one of the main criteria is the financial needs of the project towards the scaling up. So it's up to you to recognize what might be the financial needs of your project, and that plays a critical role in selecting the type of finance that suits better to your proposal. We want to make a new management practice. How can we be sure about the technological readiness level here? Yeah, it looks pretty vague to assess that point. How long does it take to prepare a full proposal after an accepted short proposal? I think that Mattia,
yeah,
who is
perfect for
our
him.
case study here, can respond on this point.
Yeah, so for us, it took us 2 months. So altogether, and we had professional support because so we had a consultant that helped us in writing the full proposal. As during those 2 months, you want to make sure that you're still focused on your own business, executing core business while applying. So I think that take at least 2 months. So we already had experiences with different programs before, so we were already prepared how to do it, but altogether, yeah, at least 2 months.
Okay, next question is for me. How is it considered vertical farming in the program? Okay, let's go back to specific goals. Specific goals are improved fertilization, irrigation, crop protection, soil tillage management. And I would say, do you apply that in vertical farming or horizontal farming? Is not so important. So if you address specific objectives and you are developing vertical farming production system, that's fine. And the next one is actually addressed to a person. Prefer to answer, Mattia, that's you.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I can answer it. So no, we didn't communicate with EIC officers during the preparation, but I think that these kind of events currently allow you to actually do the communication and ask all the relevant questions. So for us, it was as mentioned, we had that professional service support from consultants that were quite supportive and did a lot of I would say instructions how to frame our minds into application that's relevant for EIC.
Okay, next question is procedural and technology specific. I could answer it. This is not a problem. Can we propose a project with no technology, but with a new method for making agriculture more resilient? Let's make it clear. Accelerator applications are disruptive. They include radical innovations, not incremental. Check where is your innovations against that criteria. Is it radical, disruptive, Does it have capacity to create new markets or disrupt existing one? And there is the answer for your question.
Does the startup company need a full commercial license to be able to apply for EIC? During the application, it's not necessary that the company will possess the commercial license, but definitely after the implementation of the project and during the process of fundraising and the EIC support, the company should possess the license to commercialize the proposed solution or the technology.
My innovation is a business model for small food producers. Can I apply? Well, that's a tricky one. You still have to be disruptive, capable of creating new markets, disrupting existing one, and you should be at least at TRL level 6, meaning you're successfully demonstrating your technology in relative environment. So how business model fits to that?
Can I join maybe with
sure.
ideas? Yes, so in our application, actually, we found, so it's about ecosystem, and our learnings from the market is that even if small food producers might not be maybe at the moment willing to pay or able to pay, ecosystem is, because ecosystem is dependent on them. So bringing currently ecosystem is taking more and more, I would say, responsibility to bring in technology to small food producers. So if you can think of sustainable business models that can really be transformative and that empower that collaboration within the ecosystem, I think that you can find a good business model through that. So that's at least my thinking.
Are the proposal for using agrigenomics in plant and animal breeding accepted? As I said previously, be aware you have to get approval by EFSA for your products. Be aware on the timeline as well. If does it take too long? Not sure. And definitely depends on actual area of application.
Is it possible to apply again at the future deadline if our project is not selected the first time? Yes, it is possible according to the recommendation of the jury. So there are two options: the resubmission, with which you have the right to resubmit your proposal within the period of 12 months, and the direct resubmission, for which you can resubmit your proposal in the next call, in the next cutoff. So yes, you have the right to resubmit the proposal.
Okay, should SME with no pilot yet apply, meaning no customer yet? Okay, this is business part. There is also TRL level, technology part.
Yes, it depends on the TRL level.
Yeah, if you don't have a pilot, are you successfully graduated, completed stage 5? Are you at stage 6? That's very important. So that's one. And then, depending on business, be aware you're going to be judged against other applicants with possible serious income streams and a solid business case. Okay, what portfolio considerations will impact on the SML workload? Okay, so I have to say there is no portfolio consideration for Accelerator Challenge. Actually don't know how to answer the question, because since there is none. And then next question is for Mattia.
Yes, so we are always open to cooperate with all other technology companies. Today, we already operate and collaborate with quite a few soil center companies, weather station companies. I think that for EIC, probably it should be something transformative to go through. So, yeah.
Okay, next one is interesting. Biostimulant manufacturing technology is EU patented. Scale-up viability was demonstrated. Open field regulatory tests were done. Is Accelerator the way to go? We would always say if you are ambitious, you have disruptive innovation, Accelerator is the way to go. But you should decide, is that really challenge call or more open call? You should check you against specific goals of the challenge.
If my proposal is found qualified, how long will it take from the time I submit the short proposal until I receive an EIC grant and or investment funding? So here we're talking about two different interlinked but different financing schemes in terms of implementation. The grant will be dispersed soon after the grant agreement is signed. So from the time there is a KPI, from the time you submit the proposal, it takes 5 months until it gets evaluated through all the evaluation process and the grant agreement is signed. I have the feedback when a proposal is selected, so it takes around 2.5 months until the grant agreement is signed and the first bid financing is dispersed.
Okay, next seems to be like question for me. Does the technology for water treatment in vertical farming fits into the call? Okay, but we still don't know how you plan to position the application. If you pay attention to specific goals, I would say yes. If you are outside of specific goals, then maybe open call is more suitable for you.
Not sure about that. Can we have a reply on that? I'm not sure.
About chances of funding?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see who can apply for challenge. Applicants aiming to solve specific objectives. So I would say only those guys. Who is qualified to apply to open? Everyone. Guys from space industry, quantum computing, medtech, all areas. I guess chances are maybe stronger in challenge call if you align your proposal with objectives.
If my short proposal is accepted, can I be sure that I will not get a rejection due to the chosen topic? No, there is a sequential step of the full proposal, so nothing is guaranteed from the first step. If there is an issue with the UK relationship with the EU, can we move the grant to a EU subsidiary during the project? But as said, the UK startups are not eligible, so yeah, we can move on.
Okay, next question. Actually, we both can answer that. The possible applicant is wondering, should they apply for Pathfinder or Accelerator? Since we don't know what's the technology readiness level of his invention, he should actually self-assess properly at what level he actually is. Pathfinder is for research institutions or consortia of research institutions at very low TRL level. Accelerator starts at TRL level 6, is designed for a single applicant, which is SME. So it would depend on TRL level and your organizational form. Are you SME or research institution? Integrated pest management. Okay. I hope you have some agricultural background. Integrated pest management is a way to reduce use of toxic chemicals to control undesired weeds, diseases, or pests. When it comes to weeds, this is simple. You use mechanical means of controlling weeds between rows, but within the rows, you are using chemical spraying. But that way, you are reducing amount of chemicals applies considerably. That's integrated pest management. Definitely, next option is most of the spraying is done like pre-emergence. You are applying pre-emergence spraying after seeding, before emergence. You spray always all area. Definitely, if you switch to post-emergence treatment, you are waiting for emergence, you see what's the actual weed infestation density, and you apply chemicals selectively. I hope that answered your question. I think the next question is about any particular division between cutoff dates. That's more for you, Kostas.
Yeah, my project is innovative, but at TRL 6 bioagent control, but our total available market is small, about 1.4 billion. Is that the criteria for a negative result? I don't have a concrete answer of that, but as said, the EIC Accelerator aims to disrupt the markets, so the market should be quite sizable. But yeah.
You can be disruptor in a small market as well. So
yeah, definitely, but
it would depend
depends,
actually
yes.
on more on characteristic of the projects. Yeah.
Is it better to present it's for the Pathfinder? Can you take that, Ivan?
Okay, but I'm a little bit confused with this question because business plan is something prepared by accelerator applicants. So why would accelerator applicants work with Pathfinder projects? I'm not sure.
But definitely a concrete business plan helps a lot in selecting companies. How can a startup bring in a new disruptive product to the market for which no clients and income streams exist yet? Compete against other bigger companies. This is the tricky part when trying to develop a disruptive technology. I don't know.
Look at this. When I read this,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is that really totally new market and no one has clients or income stream yet? So it's totally new. But then last part of the question says competing against bigger companies. So actually, it seems like there is some income streams and only with large corporates. So I'm not sure what's the case. Is that really new radical market? With no incomes, no one has incomes, or this market is dominated by big companies and this particular project actually is a new entry to the market.
We have Polish company, but customers in Germany and France and the subsidiary in Netherlands. Can we deploy money in those countries or just Poland? I don't understand what it means to deploy money in those countries. No, I'm not sure I get it.
Okay, but it seems to me we were really under rapid fire pace, and believe it or not, we answer all questions. There are no further questions. And checking the clock, it's exactly 15:25. Time to closing remarks. Anne-Marie, I guess the floor is back to you.
Yes, I just want to thank all the participants for all the questions that they had. And I'm sure that when you start preparing your questions, you will get more and new questions. And you should ask those questions to your national contact point. They are the ones who can help you answering all the details of the questions. You should not contact Ivan directly because he cannot help people writing their proposal. That would be a clear unfair treatment of people because he cannot help everybody at the same time. So all your questions should be directed towards the national contact points. And when they don't know the answer, they will contact Ivan to ask for the right direction. As you could also see, the work program is defined in a targeted way, and it will be up to you to judge whether your solution really fits the work program. If you think it doesn't, it is better to apply for the open call because the evaluators will be instructed exactly in the same way as you are instructed now. And it will be their judgment to see whether the proposal that you propose is in scope with the call. And when it's not in scope, you will not get a go. Because here we really want to be targeted and we want to stimulate more companies related to novel technologies for resilient agriculture. And so that will always be your judgment. Your national contact point can also help you with that. But in case of doubt, it might also be a very good idea to, you shouldn't distort your idea to make it fit. It should really be what your business requires, what you want to do. And if it doesn't fit in this call, there is always the open call where you can apply. Ivan, do you want to say something more?
Actually, two things. One, we had, I think, several dozens of questions, and there were some good questions, and I hope we clarify some doubts. I would like to thank all participants for being with us, for expressing interest in making application to Accelerator, and I hope we encourage them. It is not only to evaluate, process the most prominent, and work with them. It is to promote the climate of innovation, change management, and I think we succeeded in that. And then for all those who are misplaced and they are at earlier technology level, in a half an hour, we are starting with Pathfinder call. They are more than welcome to join us.
Okay, so thank you very much to everybody. Also to Mattia for his very useful addition with his experience. And for everyone who's interested in early research, we are very happy to welcome you at 4 o'clock.